Hi guys! One of my favorite superheroes, well, my favorite superhero is Superman. I grew up watching the classic Superman movies and TV show thanks to my dad, who has always been an avid fan. One of my favorite events that I used to attend in my childhood, but I haven't gone in probably since like 2009, is the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. This year, I was finally able to go again with my dad, of course. It was such an amazing time. For those who aren't aware, I mean, you probably all are, even if you're not a Superman fan, Metropolis is a fictional city in Superman that is kind of akin to New York City. It just so happens that there is a town located at the very edge of Illinois, almost into Kentucky, called Metropolis. Metropolis took it upon themselves to embrace the whole Superman aspect of it all and started holding the annual celebration to commemorate the hero. One of the most obvious things that you notice upon entering the city is the 15-foot tall Superman statue that is placed directly in front of the county courthouse. It's funny because when I was younger and I saw this thing, man, I thought it was just insanely huge, but now that I am an adult, it seems a little smaller to me. Don't get me wrong, it's still completely huge, and it's great to have a photo op underneath it. It's such a cool thing to put there, and they also have, like, just a couple blocks away, a statue, much smaller statue, of the original Lois Lane. So that was a really cool thing to check out as well. I just think it's such a great idea, and it's really cool of Metropolis to lean into the Superman theme. I should mention that there is another Metropolis in the US. I didn't know this until recently, but it's in Nevada, and supposedly it's kind of a ghost town. So it makes a lot more sense to hold the Superman celebration in Metropolis, where there's a much more thriving community. It sits right across the river. It's literally right above Kentucky. So if you just go down, you're directly in Paducah, Kentucky, and there's quite a few people who live there. We even stopped by the mall in Kentucky, and it was like poppin'. And I don't know about you guys where you live, but malls are not busy. So it was kind of cool to go to the mall and actually see people shopping. So the really fun part is that Superman theming can be found all throughout the town, not just at the actual celebration festival part of it. We went to a local restaurant, and all of the workers and employees were wearing Superman shirts. They have, like, you know, a Superman burrito on the menu. I don't think it's actually any different than probably a normal big burrito, but yeah. Right near the iconic Superman statue is a super museum. I love how this place is decorated on the outside, and we actually didn't go through this time just because my dad and I have been through multiple times in the past, so we've kind of seen it. Maybe they've added to it now that I think about it. I do think if you're in town at Metropolis for any reason, it's definitely worth going through. I think it's like $8 or something. If you're at all interested in Superman, it's such a cool experience. But since we had been through it already in the past, and there was just so much to look at, even just in all the other buildings, we skipped it for this time. Unfortunately, we had to attend on Friday, so the events started, I believe, on Thursday night, actually, and then Friday was the first full day, and then they also had Saturday and Sunday. I just could not get off work for the weekend. That's usually when I'm at my busiest. I think Saturday and Sunday they have more of the, like, costume contests, all the really big events where there's more kind of crazy people walking around, which is my dad and I's favorite part, is like to see all the people cosplaying. It's just so much fun. There was, however, this Joker wreaking havoc with the guests. He was staying in character, which is just always a great time. Fans that, you know, go all out like this, they're what really make the experience so much more fun. And you know, if it wasn't so hot and humid, maybe I would have tried to cosplay, but I could not imagine doing it. It was so hot. I should also mention that there is no admission. You can just walk through for free. I mean, obviously you can buy stuff at the vendors there. You can buy food. I actually had a pretty good amount of food to choose from, because I feel like usually at these kinds of things there's just like corn dogs and lemon shake-ups, which we did have lemon shake-ups and they were awesome, but there's some great local restaurants and stuff, food trucks. I really liked how casual it seemed. You know, I've been to anime cons in the past. Of course, those you have to pay to get into, and then there's usually a little more structure, I guess, but it's cool that this was just so casual and you could just kind of come and go as you please. So it had actually been raining all morning, But by the time we got there, it had cleared up, which was awesome. Unfortunately, with that came the heat and the humidity. I really commend all the people out there, especially a lot of the women I saw. I don't think I got any pictures or videos of them, but there was like a Wonder Woman, a Poison Ivy. They were wearing wigs. It looked so hot. Amazing costumes and stuff. So I'm sure that was really uncomfortable, but they slayed and it was super awesome to see. Thankfully, there were a ton of stores to go in. Like you kind of walk down a strip and there's vendors and stuff, but then all the stores that line it tend to have Superman based stuff or just like kind of nerdy memorabilia. So you could always just, you know, run into one of those stores, cool down, the AC was blasting, and then you could go back out when you were refreshed. So that was a really great aspect of it. We went into the artist alley, which I always love to go at cons because I'm an artist. I mean, I don't like to say that. I like to draw. Let me put it that way. You know, I love to see other artists work and stuff, especially comic book artists. They're just on another level with the amount of detail they put into their work. It's just such a treat to see all that. This dude was doing like, he was selling his original paintings, and my dad asked how much the Christopher Reeve one was going to be, and it was $6,000, so it was a little out of the price range. So much talent. He was also selling prints for like $200 to $300, I think, so you could get a print version of it, not the original, for less. So many talented people selling their stuff. Although my dad didn't get the Christopher Reeve painting, that was $6,000. He did get an awesome Superman print signed by the artist. I'm not sure, gosh, I wish I would have gotten his information, but he was sitting at the thing at his vendor table, and he had a lot of TMNT and other kind of like Batman and stuff, and he said he specially made a Superman print for this event, and it was really cool. It was kind of a collage kind of piece where it had, you know, Daily Planet in one corner, Superman, Crypto, Lois. It was kind of like all the elements in one photo. It was $20 for a print, like a good 11 by 17 size, and he signed it right there with his marker, and it was super cool. And then we went to this other booth. I wish I would have taken pictures of the art that my dad got, but he got one framed photo of an illustration from a moment in the Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder. If you're a Twilight Zone fan, you gotta know that episode. There was a guy there drawing just all kinds of stuff, like cartoon characters, actors. He had this 4-piece set of the Beatles, of each Beatle, and he gave us a really great price on those prints, and it was just really cool. So I'm sure those will look awesome in my dad's home/office. And the people at this event were just so insanely nice. If you're like me and you come from like kind of a city, I guess, I don't know, I'm used to going out and just people being angry, people being upset. And I know it's like kind of a situation where probably people are more in a good mood. I can't emphasize enough how nice people were. I mean, you got free samples everywhere. You got just people being really genuine. Like, it didn't feel like the passive aggressiveness that I'm sometimes used to when interacting with folks. Can't say enough about the people running this and all the vendors who were there. So freaking nice. After buying the art prints, we kind of just wandered around. There was an antique store, and then we also found this other store that had a plethora of comics, figures, even these like life-size statues of characters and celebrities. There was one of Elvis. There was this huge like skeleton thing. Just walking through there, I mean, we could have spent hours in there. Everything was keeping us so entertained. So all in all, if you ever find yourself in the Midwest, near the town of Metropolis, I think it's worth a pit stop to just walk through, even if it's during a time where the Superman celebration is not currently going on. The Superman-centered history that they've poured into this town is just so impressive, and if nothing else, I think it's pretty entertaining, even if you're not interested in like Superman lore. It's just a cool thing to walk through and see everything they've done with the town. So I've already mentioned this on my Patreon, but I am taking a little bit of a break on uploading. I got my schedule for the summer, and I'm a caricature artist, and that is our busiest time. Like, I'm gonna be out there pretty much every day, so I won't be uploading quite as quickly, but we're still gonna get through all the song requests we have for June. Might take a little longer than the month of June, but let's get to the song of the day today. This is from Baruski. The song is called Lockstep from Rhythm Heaven. I don't think I've heard a lot from Rhythm Heaven, but I have to imagine it has some pretty good music if it's a rhythm game. I like how it kind of feels like it sped up for a minute. Yeah, I don't know how you can listen to this and not feel happy. It's got a fun chord progression. I like the string aspect of it. Ooh. Yeah. Got some pretty chords in there. Alright, it just fades out. Oh, it's a short one. That was interesting. It kind of went in a direction I wasn't expecting. It was very cutesy, feel good, and then it kind of got like weirdly ominous for a second, and then it went back to being feel good. So supposedly this is for a mini game. That's what Baruski has mentioned. But that's a super solid song. I'd like to check out more from Rhythm Heaven if it sounds like this, because it's very, man, it just sounds like it's gonna get you up off your feet if you're having a bad day or something. It has some really like satisfying sounds too. I like to listen to that kind of stuff. Well, that is gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't been to Metropolis, but you somehow find yourself there someday, check it out. It is such a cool city. And that's gonna be all for today, so I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!